everybody, Sandi Clarkson here with you today for My Creative Scrapbook. Working on a process video using the December limited edition kit. I kind of have my pictures and embellishments laid out here like I think I want everything to be, but it's taken me a while to figure this one out. Let me kind of show you where we started out with, if I can do this or not. I was going to use this piece of paper right here because I'm always encouraging you to just, take your photos and, put it on there, maybe a few embellishments, flowers or whatever, and a title of some kind, and then maybe a more photo matting, but, you'd have a page already made and it could be so easy because all the embellishment back here has been done for you. But anyway, with wanting to use both of these double photos, or both of these photos, things were starting to get a little congested, and I was wondering, where is that plaid piece of paper? And then I find it on the back side of this. So that's what I'm going to do. And I see I've got a little piece of white showing right there, so I'm going to just real quick get rid of that that's there on the end. So I won't be worrying about that, but this is really a pretty piece of paper. I'm going to use it pretty much as a solid. I had also saved these papers right here from another layout that I did earlier. I think my very first one. And then actually it went out to a point, and when I was going to use it over here, I kind of tore it away. And now that I'm going to use it up here, I kind of wish I hadn't done that. But I'm going to go ahead and do that. Then I'm going to add this piece of paper that I fussy cut from the collage paper. And for the other side, I was going to kind of have to trim it quite a bit. But I think if I put it over here, I can just put it like this and then do my photos kind of at an angle. And I want to be sure and leave plenty of room down here for my title. I don't think I'll use any mixed media on this one because about the only way I could go, I think, would be with, white or cream or something like that. So I could do that. I could do some watered down gesso and kind of fade out the pattern paper back behind this focal cluster if I wanted to. But I really like the crisp green, so I'm just going to go with that and use up kind of the last few bits of my kit. I still have so much to work with. I never have found a home for the Santa. I would like to get him in this layout, but I guess we shall see. All right, I'm going to turn off the microphone and get busy with scrapping. Okay, so now it's time to get started on creating, and I am going to adhere those first two pieces of pattern paper together that were from my very first layout. That was the part that I cut away to make room for the plaid kind of envelope look, and I'm going to line that up close to the top, but I want to keep in mind that I am bringing in the collage paper to go on top of that. And so I'm just outlining that with a little bit of peeled paint. It really doesn't need much because it's a lighter color than the green and it'll pop anyway. I debated about putting that, straight up and down, or whether to put it on a diagonal, but I decided to go ahead and kind of make it diagonal to go with the photo over on the left, which I think my camera is glaring that out right now. But I do want to make sure I've got room for that big title down below. I thought I would use that It's Christmas Time from the foam that we had in the kit. And then I'm having trouble tucking in my tags, so I have to trim them off a little bit because my glue is already dried. That's how quickly that barely glue can dry. And so then I'm just looking around for different embellishments. I did want to also tuck in those little small tags, mainly because I wanted the texture of the strings, and so I have a little trouble, but I do come back later and add those in if I recall correctly. And then since we're at the tree farm here, I thought I would add in plenty of trees. I actually had one more die cut tree from the die cut pack that I could have included, but couldn't really find the right place for it. And so I'm playing around with some of the poinsettias and other flowers and seeing where I can tuck in. I kind of want to have about 3 focal clusters there, kind of at a triangle, or a visual triangle. And, just because that's where they seem reasonable to place. And I've already matted my photos, and they've got that little small holly berry pattern around them, as well as the white that was from where I printed them. And then I'm going to elevate them on some corrugated cardboard just to lift them up off the page and give the page a little bit of dimension. I will be giving this layout to Carson's mom, so she can put it in her shadow box or, in her album, whichever she wants to do. So I thought I had already glued that down, but apparently I hadn't, that one. But anyway, they just kind of nestle there together, and then I want to very quickly get my trees in there. And then I do decide I want the trees to be straight up and down. Or I think I do. And, so I kind of go back and forth about placing those die cut trees straight up and down or at an angle, because I'm trying to figure out what looks best to go with the background, in the photos themselves, or whether I want them to be more in alignment with the photos. And there you can see that I'm changing my mind, and I want them to be kind of lined up with the edge of the photos. And that one I have to kind of lift a little bit. The paper is a little bit torn underneath. I could have used some undo glue, but it was fine just to use the palette knife and lift it a little bit and then replace it. And so then I'm just placing my poinsettias. I do have a few other smaller flowers I think that I bring in. And I was very careful with the little petals, or the leafy petals, because I want a little bit to show, but not too much. And so, I kind of go back and forth about whether or not to include those. And there's those little banner pieces. I just thought those little pieces of string, it's paper, but it looks like string. And I thought that would bring in some texture for that side over there. And there I'm just kind of taking a look at my colors, and I think I am out of the poinsettias, except for some in that kind of blushy tan color. And so I'm just playing around with my mix to see what looks the best. And there you can see that I snipped off that leaf. I want a little bit to show, but not too much. So I just go with a little bit. This is really a very simple page to do. Figuring out what you want to do and what paper you want to go with, what embellishments you want to go with, like the trimming out of the collage paper. It just all really takes time, especially when you're trying to design and you want to try to focus on all the different embellishments so that Kit Club subscribers can see different ways to create with what product they purchased. And there, I'm glad that I had at least 2 greens so I could put one on either side. So that turned out to be just luck. And then I do want to bring a pop of red over there, but it's a smaller flower, and I think that's I think I have a few of the small ones, but I don't have any more of the red poinsettias, except for the paper ones. And then there's that little small bit that says, "This is good." And that was just going to be my title, but then I decided to just let it be a subtitle. And I wanted to bring in a little red pickup truck. I mean, what is a Christmas paper without a red truck in it, right? So I wanted to bring that in, especially since it's a little boy. And I thought that would look really good. And then I want to do something similar over on the other side. So I'm playing around with what to use. And then I decided that Father Christmas might do the trick if I can get him tucked in enough. And so he's going to make the layout. And I think since that he's bringing in a little bit of red in his cloak, that will be, really nice. And it'll balance out that red pickup truck. And I'm just going to adhere that with foam squares. So I will have details down in my description box below about how to order a kit and how to become a Kit Club subscriber. If you like my content, I hope you will like and subscribe. And that way more of my videos will pop up in your feed. I'm coming up now on some of my final project photos and some of my close-ups. So I do want to thank you for coming by today. I hope you are into your holiday season and are looking forward to being with friends and family. And I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday season. There I'm using my T-square just to kind of make sure that that's lined up the way I want it to be. Since this does swoop, but I just kind of did quarter to quarter. There I'm finishing the layout with some of the gold stars. They are very shiny, but those come from the puffy sticker kit, but they're a really nice accent. And then the last thing that I'm going to do on the layout after the stars is I am going to use some white acrylic paint to splatter and just give it a snowy look. Right there, I was just rubbing my layout on the edge of the paper because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to, that everything would lay flat, because sometimes when you glue things, then it makes a little bit of a buckle. So there I decide on one more white poinsettia to be right there by the truck. And there I've got another one in my hand, and I'm going to bring it along to the other side. They are just to kind of soften the edges and bring a little final color. And then I do have some jute twine that I'm going to make a bow. Thanks for coming by, and I'll see you in the next video.